So I said that you can also initialize your array this way by first using object handlers to create an instance of what? Of the class node. Then you create how many objects? 10 objects. Then save each object handler in the array or doing it in the previous way. Both is correct, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, good. So now back to the question. The question states that declare the pointers, which we have already done. The pointers have been declared, isn't it? Okay, good. That is the main function. Now, question C. The procedure output nodes. This is another procedure. Is it part of this class? No. The class is only does node and the attributes, isn't it? If there is another method that is part of the class, it will have been stated. Is that understood? So since the question says the procedure output node does not say in the class, so don't try and put it in the class. A lot of students did that mistake and putting this in the class. So the procedure output nodes, I have another procedure def output nodes. Okay, takes the array and start pointer as what? Parameter. The array and start pointer as parameter. What is the array? Linked list, isn't it? Am I right? Array. It's not compulsory I write linked list. I hope you guys know that. Even if I write linked list, it is not still the array linked list. It is until you pass the argument that you now pass the array. So I can just write array if I like. I can also write linked list if I like. Do you know?
Yeah.
Also, I can also write start, or I can also write start pointer. It doesn't matter. It is not the same variable. They are different variable. But when you now call the function, you must pass the exact variable. Is that understood? Good. So after writing these two parameters, then you go back to the question. It says that the procedure outputs the data from where? Is it from the array? A lot of students output the data from the array, which was wrong. Is the array the linked list? No. The array is used to store the nodes. The array is not the linked list. Is that understood? So this procedure outputs data from the linked list, not output data from the array. By following what? The next node. That was exactly what I explained in the last class. When you output by following what? The next node. So you go to this, it points to this, it points to this until you are done. Write program code for the procedure output nodes. Is that understood? So now this procedure I've taken two things as what? As parameter. Now we want to output. So if you want to output, what is the first thing you have to do? So we continue to output. So what I said yesterday is when you want to output, so before you write your code, you have to go back to the illustration. Where do we start from? 0. What do we do at position 0? We output the data at position 0. Isn't it? After outputting, what do we now do? We check the value of the next pointer. Isn't it? What is the value of next pointer? 1. Then what do? We go to index 1. Is that understood? And output the value at what? Index 1. And we check the what? The next pointer. What is the value of the next pointer? 4. Then we go to index 4. Are you all following me? We output the value at what? Index 4. And we go to the next pointer. Is that understood? What is the value for the next pointer? 2. Then we go to index 2. We output the value at index 2. Are you all following me? Then we what? We go to the next pointer. What is the next pointer? 7. We output the value at index 7. We check the what? The next pointer. What is the value for the next pointer? 3. Then we go to index 3. We output the value at index 3. And what is the next pointer? -1. That means we stop. So what is the first thing to write? What is the first line of code to write? You can tell me that. So like we have done in stack and queue, before you output anything from a list or from an abstract data type, check if it is empty. That is the first thing. Check if it is empty. If it is empty, the value of the start pointer would not be 0. Is that understood? It should have been what? -1. So that means that when you go back to your line of code, are we outputting one thing or a lot of things? You remember in stack and queue, we outputted how many values? 1. But in linked list, how many values are we expected to output? All the values. If you go back to the question, it states that the procedure outputs the data from the linked list. Outputs the data from the linked list. That is every data from the linked list. So if you want to check if it is empty for queue and stack, what statement do you use? If you want to check if it is empty here, what statement would you have used? While. Because it's a continuous thing. We use if in queue and stack because we are outputting how many times? Once. We are going to use while because we are going to output continuously. Is that understood? So that means we have to write that while start is not equal to what? -1. If it is not equal to -1, that means there is a value in the what? In the what? In the linked list. Sorry. Yeah, in the linked list rather. So while start is not equal to -1, that means we can start, isn't it? So if we can start, what does that imply? That means we will output the value at that position, isn't it? We have to output the data at that position, isn't it? Because the value of start is not equal to what? -1, isn't it? So let's output data at that position. So then I will output what? 1, isn't it? So let's output this 1. This 1 is at the first position of the array, isn't it? So that means I will print. Okay, let me write variable is equal to array start. Will I write array 0 or array start? The value of start, isn't it? Because that is where I'm starting from. Is that all understood? But if I write variable is equal to array start, that means what is the value for start? It should have been 0, isn't it? That is the start pointer. Are you all following me? If start pointer is 0, that means variable is equal to array 0. The value at array 0, is it a value on an object?
Object.
So can it actually output this value?
No.
Is that understood? Because array 0 is what? Is an object. Don't forget, this is array 0, which is D1, right? Is an object containing how many values? 2 values. So how do I now output that value of data? Who can tell me how to do that? Yes.
We use the attribute.
We use the attributes to output the value. It should be dot what? Dot data. Now, who can now tell me the problem now? Yeah, the problem. We cannot access the attribute because we already made it private. So that will now answer our question. The question of should it be public or private? So did we all see it now? So that means we have to go back to the previous code and make it what? Public, because we need to access that data outside of the class. Because there are no other methods. There's no other get method according to this question. Is that understood? Does the question ask you to write a get method? No. So are you supposed to start writing get method, set method? No. So make it public. It's as simple as that. Is that understood? So to now output the data, it now becomes array start dot data. Is that understood? So this is now the value at that position. Understood, everyone? Good. So that value is now saved in variable, right? So now we can what? We can print variable. Is that understood? After printing variable, now we've printed this value 1. What is the next thing to do, everyone?
Look at the next node.
Check the next node, isn't it?
Yeah.
The next node will now be the value of the start. That is the new starting point where I need to start from to go to the next. Then I will change the value for the start to the next node. Then it continues until it becomes what? minus 1. When it becomes minus, what happens? It leaves the loop. Is that understood? As simple as that. So that means that I will now take the value of the next node. So the value of the next node is what? Then I write that start is now equal to array what? Array start. The same array position dot what? Get next node. From the what? From the class, isn't it? Dot next node. Is that understood? Then I take that value into start. So the value of start has now changed to next node. So it goes back to the while loop and check if it is not what? Minus 1. Is that understood? So it has taken the value of the next node as what? 1. It goes back to the while loop and check if it is not minus 1. Is it minus 1? No. What does it now do? It now takes what? Variable is equal to array what? Array 1, isn't it? Array what? 1 dot data. Then it prints this value 5. Are you all following me? After putting value 5, what happens? It now resets start to be equal to what? Array 1 dot next node. Is that understood? What is the value for next node? 4. Are you all following me? It goes back to the while loop and check if it is not what? Minus 1. Is it minus 1? No. What is the value? 4. Then it takes what? Array 4 dot data. Are you all following me? Then it goes to array 4. The value is what? Is 2. It prints 2. Then it takes array 4 dot what? Next node. It continues until that equals what? Minus 1. When it's equal to minus 1, what happens? It leaves the node. Is this understood? It's as easy as ABC. No stress. Then after doing that, what is the next value? What is the next question? It says, that is all. By following what? The next node. Write program code for the procedure output node, which is exactly what we have just written. And that is how many marks? Yeah, 6 marks. The question now says, edit the main program to call the procedure output node. So let's go back to call the procedure output node. So back to the main program, then call output nodes. And when you call output node, what are you supposed to pass as parameter? Then linked list. And what? Start pointer. Then you pass this to as parameter. Isn't it? Then take a screenshot to show the output of the procedure. So edit the main program to call. Take a screenshot. So how do you take a screenshot? By running, isn't it? So let's run this. Are we ready to run? Okay, I need to call the main function, isn't it? So let's call the main function. So running this code now, then I should have this. Guys, is this correct?
Yes.
Is it what I've been explaining?
Yes.
Yes. Any question on this?
Yes.
Any question?